What was that? Hello everyone, and welcome back to Garry's Mod once again. And I'm playing one of the most requested maps that you guys have asked me to play, and that's RP Asheville. It's a map that you guys have told me is very atmospheric, and that it's absolutely huge. And I believe that because the download for this map was, believe it or not, almost 2 gigabytes. I have no idea what to expect as usual, so let's get right into it. Starting with whatever just made that sound in the loft. What is this, some kind of light hooked up to a battery? Oh, I don't like the ambient sounds that keep playing. Wow, this is like some kind of whole makeshift computer control room setup. I didn't expect to find this up here. SOS. Yeah, so from what I understand, the story of this map is that there was some deadly pandemic that completely wiped out. I don't know if it wiped out the population of this town or if everyone had to be evacuated or what, but the point is it's a Chernobyl type situation. It's abandoned now. Well, except for me, of course. Now, as usual, I don't know if this map is going to try to spook me, or if it's just going to get to me with its ambiance. I don't know why you wanted me to play it. You guys are very tight-lipped about that. But I can already tell it's succeeding on the ambiance front. Listen to that. There's the cornfields and the crows and the farmhouse. The abandoned vehicles scattered about, and the fog rolling in with the wind blowing over the tops of the trees, and the radio mast that stretches up into the clouds to the point where the top is almost completely obscured. It's immediately obvious that a ton of effort has gone into making this map achieve a certain vibe. I can see it looks like there's multiple buildings that we can explore. So I'm prepared to be in this for the long haul and really dig in deep. What's in here? Is it like some kind of military barracks or something? Yeah, well, judging by that Humvee over there, I got to imagine, and with the computer stuff up there, this was probably made into some kind of military outpost then. Oh, that's cool. If there's going to be like a lot of environmental storytelling that kind of tells about the downfall of this place. And those appear to be some dead horses or cows. Those don't look too old. Is the story that this place is only recently abandoned? Okay. I guess we'll head inside this building first. Can't help but notice that the ambient sounds have cut out. There's that sound again. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear that on the video, but I just keep hearing like this soft, distant, like, hello? And I'm honestly not sure which is worse, a total lack of ambient sounds or when they're just really rare. So I can already tell that this map is going to be something really special because I honestly dread rounding every corner and nothing's even happened yet. If anything even will happen. That still remains to be seen. Okay, I think in here should be the kitchen, right? And in here is the barracks. Oh, come on. Okay, so I'm having a bit of a crisis moment here. Now, we all know in horror games, bathroom stalls are not to be trusted, right? We all agree. But I've never actually experienced it in VR before. Come on. Okay. But it's like I almost don't want to... I really don't like the fact that there's such a thing as behind me right now. Because I was going to say that I don't want to turn my back to that, but there's nothing I much do want to turn my back to right now. Okay, I guess next up we'll check out the farmhouse. Now, approaching a place like this, especially with how on edge this map has me already, is scary, yes. Especially when I can still hear that creepy little ghost girl echoing in the distance. But, look, we have a couple of things going for us. One, I know it's just a game, and I can always take the headset off and nothing can really hurt me. Two, I have you guys. You're here with me in spirit. 3, I have a Glock, so let's head on in. So let's head on in. Yeah, for some reason, opening doors seems to be a lot more difficult with the left hand. I think it has something to do with this being like the teleport hand. Which means... Yeah. And you know what? Look, I know Garry's Mod is not a VR game. That's why some things are more difficult than they should be. Because it's not made for this. This is a mod. It's basically just a set of workarounds. But the way this is working out for me mechanically is that I can only open doors if I've been disarmed. It's like the map wants me to play it this way. And I must say, I'm not liking the sound of my own footsteps right now, which is one of the reasons I'm taking it so slow. It ain't just for spooky effect. Oh, I don't like that painting. And I must say, in VR, this is like some kind of weird, like, 3D decal, because this looks very, very realistic right now. Because there's actual depth to that pile of clothes on the ground. Between the detail and the props and the scaling and the ambient sounds, I can't stress this enough. I don't know. I really don't know if this comes across when you're watching this on YouTube, but it really is like being here. I mean, I need that to be understood when you're watching me do this. I feel like I'm here right now. That honest to God did scare me a little bit. I'm going to have to get used to that real quick, because I imagine there's a lot of doors on this map. Yeah, I can only really open them with my right hand. Now, I know there's got to be... Yeah, there's a staircase. Why is that ceiling so unnerving to me? Somebody let me know in the comments, because something about this picture just looks really wrong to me, and I can't figure out what it is. Time to get the Glock. I don't see a door at the top of the stairs, do you? At least the power still seems to be on. It's not making me choose between a flashlight and a gun. It's only making me choose between opening doors and a gun. Jesus. You've got to be kidding me. I can't imagine it's a coincidence that you chose to play that creepy sound just right then and there. Hang on, wait, this is VR. I can do whatever I want. Okay, there doesn't seem to be anything there. That mirror is not working, which is fine by me. Okay. Ooh. Stop. I can't handle objects just being... all objects. Just try not to be behind me when I turn around. Actually, if that would require moving, do not move. I don't know what I want. Okay, last room. I'm glad I've kind of gotten the hang of opening doors. Alright. That seems to be it for the farmhouse. Now, I think I vaguely recall, and again, I deliberately don't read up on these maps before I play them. So, I think one of you did mention that there is an underground to this map, and I think that this farm isn't the whole map. I think it may actually be possible to go all the way to that city over there. I'm going to be at this for a while at this rate. It's strange, you know, with the kinds of spooks that get programmed into GMOD maps and the kind that I've seen so far, you wouldn't really think that... I could have sworn I just saw something move out of the way of the window across the street. But as I was saying, these windows are open. But as I was saying, with the kind of... Oh, I think that might just be some LOD thing going on. Okay. That makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, but that's also not exactly what I saw, so... And I can't help but notice it's not going away when I move further back, so... Maybe that's not what I saw. Maybe the map's just giving me false comfort. But as I was saying... God, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, with the kinds of spooks that Garry's Mod maps give you, or at least the kind that I've seen so far, a gun won't do anything. You can't kill them. They're just like things programmed into the map. They're not NPCs that you can kill. But... in a weird way, it just does make me feel safer to have this gun, which I must constantly put away. See, stuff like this. This is something I've talked about a little bit in other videos, but when, particularly in horror, when you have a map that's properly scaled, and everything feels like a real space like you'd see in real life, and the dimensions and all of that are actually the right sizes, and everything's the right size in relation to each other, it makes it feel that much more realistic, and it allows you to immerse yourself that much more in the horror of the situation. And that's something that Resident Evil 7 probably did the best. Resident Evil 7 is a game that, you know, for as much of a weird, crazy mansion as it is, it does feel like a regular house in any given room. Because there's so much clutter, because it's not a wide open space that feels like it's meant for game mechanics. It feels like a house that you've seen before that people live in. And in that way, I don't like how dark it is in here. I mean, that's a big part of what makes Resident Evil 7 work so well, is that it's such a realistic environment. Okay, now I think I have to probably, if we can go to the city, I probably have to cross that bridge to get there. So I'm going to head this way first. Doesn't look like I can enter here. I'm fine with that. Oh wow, these trains are actually enterable. Okay, I'll check those out after I look at this building. kind of annoying how all the doors open outward. Asheville control room. Do these buttons actually work? Do these trains function? Okay, now the question is, how do I get up here? You know what? I bet I can use the teleport function. There we go. I wonder if these are actually custom assets made for the map, or if they're ripped from some other game. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, it's hard to read because it's kind of low res, but this plaque appears to be in Cyrillic, so with all the other text on the map being English, I would imagine these are ripped assets. Not that it diminishes it at all. Let's teleport over here. I'm going to try to teleport as little as possible. I just don't think there's any kind of, like, vaulting mechanic in GMOD VR, so I can't use my hands to climb up. And I guess this bridge also leads into the city. Is that just the sound of me walking in the gravel? Alright, it's time for the Garry's Mod VR Haunted Hayride. I really don't like this. This is a real wee-woo moment. This might be a slightly less talkative video. But I do think I'm going to be leaving a lot of this slow wandering in just to stress the feel of this map and the vibes that I'm getting from it and the way it's making me think about how I progress. There's actually more to these. I really hope there's not much in that tunnel. Because if so, I got my work cut out for me. Okay, luckily the tunnel seems to be collapsed, so we're good here. Good in this department. Alright, I think that's about it for the Haunted Hayride. The more I play this map, the more eerie it becomes to me that the lights are all still on. Like, there's just no good reason why. I don't know how long after the plague this is supposed to be. And it's to the point where sounds that are happening in real life, because I'm recording this in the middle of the day, so my family are walking around, the neighbors' dogs are barking, and I hear all of that, and it's... You would think that would diffuse the tension somewhat, but it's actually kind of doing the opposite. And once more, we have to go gunless. This appears to be identical. Yeah, these... for now, I'm going to assume that these are all identical, unless you ask me to come back. Real Silent Hill vibes. Asheville Police Department. Those thunder strikes are always perfectly timed, aren't they? That's a noise I've not heard before. See, I really don't like how absolutely silent it goes when you enter a building. Oh my god. Okay, what's behind door number 2? Didn't mean to do that, but it was convenient. Okay, what is happening? Okay, my crossbow is haunted. More bathroom stalls, great. I'd really like to also have a flashlight right now. Technically, I can also have a flashlight, but I feel like it's... When you do that, it just kind of projects out of your hand. I feel like it's more immersive to use the flashlight mod, which actually puts a physical object in my hand. Come on. As I said, this is likely to be a longer video with not as much chattiness. But I really want to give you the whole experience of being here with me. Don't like it when sounds like that are happening. This looks like some kind of evidence room. Looks like somebody ransacked this place. If that's the intent, then that's a really, really nice bit of immersive environmental storytelling that the creators are doing through this map. Okay, I think that's everything. Thank God. Anything else back here? See, that's the thing, is for as creepy as outside is, I definitely feel a lot better being out here, just because I'm not so trapped and claustrophobic and it's not so friggin' dark. What is... Spoke too soon. But now I have a choice to make, flashlight or gun. The flashlight serves a purpose. The gun kind of doesn't, but at the same time... With the LOD, I can't even see all the way to the end of the garage. And this door is openable. Okay, doesn't seem to be anything in here. The more attempts I have to make at opening a door, the more it's going to startle me when it finally opens. Okay, it looks like there is at least some ambient light here, so I'm going with the gun. I don't like this. I don't like this huge cavernous space. This is an RP map? What are you supposed to roleplay on here? I suppose it's meant to be like a post-apocalyptic stalker type of vibe. But I don't see any doors on the other... I don't see any doors on the... I need to get out of here. I really do feel a need to get out of here. Can we open that door? I hope we can open that door. I didn't see anything like this on the way when I was up top. Where does this go? Hang on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on! I'm just going to talk about this when I get out of here. I'm just going to talk about this when I get out of here. Okay. I want to explain what just happened right there. That was a moment of just sheer, like, primal panic. When I walked all the way to the end of that huge cavernous space and saw that there was nothing to do there but turn around. And when I went to that other door and it wouldn't open, I don't know if it would have opened if I had tried harder or done something differently. But when I got there after that and it wouldn't open, just absolute nope. Just real, just bunches of nopes. Bushels of nopes, bundles of nopes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. I'm not even commentating anymore, am I? You know, look at that. That is some real... It straight up looks like someone ported a Silent Hill level. Alright, moving on. Does that road really continue down all that way? At this point, I'm starting to doubt that I'm actually supposed to be getting up onto that bridge. Maybe the city isn't actually part of the map. But it does look like there's more stuff down that way. Ooh. That's a crashed plane. This map is nuts. Okay, maybe this is the sort of urban-y area that everybody's talking about, is like this, what seems to be like a factory type thing or some kind of industrial area. It looks like the plane ripped right into the building. This is actually going to be kind of a big explore, and I only saw smaller houses down that way. So I'm going to take a look on this plane, and then I'm going to head out down that way and save this for last, maybe? Let's just see what's going on over here. That appears to be some kind of a medical tent. Oh boy, we're about to get dizzy. Oof. Yeah, falling in VR is something of a trip. That's a pun. I swear I didn't intend for it to be. Oh wow, is there a hole? Every time I think I'm shaving off a loose end, was that my gun? Was that my gun, or was that an ambient sound? I know, because this gun has, like, VR functions, so I do have to, like, load in a magazine and rack the slide if I expend my ammo. But I'm not really too well versed on how it works. Okay, there's nothing in here. What's over this way? I'm not gonna go running around in the woods with no direction. I say, running around in the woods with no direction. I was just hearing some real weird sounds from up here. Okay, nothing in this one either. I think that's the police department right there. I'm just ending up right back where I started. No, the bridge is real. This map is actually that gigantic. I can't believe this. It's starting to really put into perspective why this map is almost 2 gigs. You know, as I approach this place, I can't help but feel that this map is escalating. We started out in a barn, and then we explored some regular houses, and then a farmhouse, and then like a train station, but then the police station, and now a factory, and there's still, from what I can tell, a whole city over that way. It almost kind of feels like it is progressing like a Silent Hill game, where we're just moving to bigger and more dangerous locations. So grateful at how well lit this map is. I'm going to try to go another way that's not going to require me to teleport so much, because I can't walk over all that debris. Gave me a little bit of anxiety right there, because there's that raised feature there, and I looked up, and it was in that moment that I realized, what if that's there, so that I'll look up, and not see something coming from this way. That's why I looked over there right away. Doesn't seem like there's anything here, though. These ground scatters are, as I said before, really nice. They're actually three-dimensional. So they really do add a feeling of clutter, especially in VR, probably even more so than they would while playing it the standard way. Okay, do I go down first or up? You guys know I don't like water in video games. I may actually trade my gun for the flashlight here, depending on how far this goes. And I'm now finding out that water hits different in VR. When you actually see your legs taking the steps in and see the splashes and the ripples going away from you. I actually do get a sense that I'm submerging myself. Gun or flashlight, dilemma for the ages. I think for the first time I'm going to go with flashlight. Okay, thankfully that appears to be blocked off. And that's as far as I'm interested in pursuing it. Back a block. What's through here? I don't like it when I have to do stuff with my knees. It's like, game, you're asking way too much of me. I'm 26. I belong in a retirement home, not making videos on YouTube. Wow, it's like a control room. Now, I imagine that's going to take me upstairs. But is it its own area, or is it... Oh, I guess I'll just see. I'd like to avoid doing this if it's somewhere I'm just going to end up on my own later, but it's starting to seem like I made the right choice. It looks like this is only accessible by that ladder. Alright, let's head down. Because of how brightly lit it is and the fact that there are some ambient sounds, this place in particular, except for the flooded room, isn't actually making me that nervous. I actually do kind of feel at ease in this factory so far. So far, so far, least scary moment, this factory, although that's subject to change. Most scary moment, by far, the police station, especially if you count the parking garage. Okay, well, I take back what I said about the ambient sounds, because here, it's playing this weird droning sound, and just hearing that sound in this deserted but otherwise pristine space, I would actually kind of call this whole break room area a liminal space, in a way, and let me know if you agree, because I'm still not exactly an expert on that subject, despite my numerous attempts to learn about it. Alright, what's through here? I'll go back and check those rooms on the way back. I don't like the turn this took. Seems this door doesn't open. Okay, yeah. This doesn't seem to open. I'm good with that. And it's scaring me all over again because... I gotta say, for being the least scary part of the map so far, it sure is throwing a lot of my gaming phobias at me. So far, that's water, long hallways, and even adding the modifier, a long hallway that makes you turn around when you get to the end of it. I reference my gaming phobias video a lot. You guys should go watch that if you haven't already, because otherwise you're going to be totally lost when I talk about this stuff. Open up. Yeah, I think this definitely qualifies as a liminal space. And you know, in VR, you can really appreciate the fact that, like, you can really appreciate the 3D assets that are in this. The glass is broken. I can reach right in. But can't. I can reach right into the vending machine, but I can't pick up the Reese's. Am I in hell? Alright. I think this is the last room, then we're done with the factory. Yep, this surely is a liminal space. And that is a blind corner. Featuring another door. Nope, nope. That was an accident. I really need to get better acquainted with these controls, clearly. Alright, now I think that'll be it for the factory. Which means, as far as I know, the only way left to go from here is to start the lonely, long walk over that big overpass. You hear that? I think it might just be dripping coming from over there, but for a second it kind of sounded to me like wet footsteps. Now, once again, I was saying that back there in the factory, that was kind of the safest I felt, you know, in relative terms. But this map has got this weird thing going for it where outside on the street, it's almost like Silent Hill 2 in a way, which is the only Silent Hill game I've played so far. I actually played it on this channel if you want to go see somebody experience Silent Hill as a franchise for the first time. But it's got this vibe outside where I don't really feel in danger. But I do kind of sort of feel followed, if that makes any sense. And I'm now realizing this road curves to the left. It looks like it's going to some kind of dam. Is there even more to see in this direction before we even get up on the overpass? Just had a little bit of a heart attack because I turned around and I thought the right guardrail was the silhouette of a person sitting in the shadows. There's so much more to this map. I might have to divide this video into parts. For some reason, I'm getting a real eerie vibe from the fact that the lights are on in here in particular. Come on. There we go. It's almost like it's open, but it's not. Like, if I were to approach the counter, I'd turn around, and the cashier would be right there, ready to serve me. I honestly am getting the feeling that a cashier is there. I just can't see him, so I'm going to get out of here. I do have to ask the question, how far can we go in this tunnel? Only this far, which I am perfectly good with. Well, at least I don't have to worry about finding an entrance. With any luck, the entire inside will only be debris. Yes, that's actually kind of what I wanted to see. Beautiful piece of map design, though. The whole building's just a shell. It kind of reminds me of, I believe it's called the Renwick Smallpox Hospital on Roosevelt Island. I've been there once. It's pretty cool. The whole thing is just the outer walls are all that's left. But that's not all that's left of this place. Not quite, anyway. See, more than anywhere else, how can the lights be on in here? Oh, copyright TOS. Okay, they're singing Ring of Fire. I gotta talk over this whole thing. I'm sorry. This is a very, can we change it? 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 Nope. Scariest thing so far. Copyright. Okay. That's a shame because I actually had a lot to say about that space, but, I'll have to do it not in that space. So I've talked a little bit about this before. You know how I feel about those abandoned type bars, the things that are empty but seem to still be in operation. They have that sort of creepy and comfy feel at the same time. Like, I feel like I could just chill behind that bar and look around and see the entire thing, and even if it is an eerie space, it'll feel like, you know, it'll feel like I can at least see what's around me and I don't have to worry about something getting me. And maybe it'll even feel like some friends are coming to meet me. But, okay, here's the back door. I'll just let you guys see it again with that in mind, but unfortunately I am going to have to talk over the whole thing. TOS. I am in compliance with copyright law. YouTube can't do anything about this because you can't even hear the song. You can only hear me. That's right. Johnny Cash is a living legend, and I will be paying no royalties to his estate with this video. Floating ghost toilet. That would be the way we end this segment. Next up is, I believe this is the dam. I just cannot believe how far all this stuff goes, and I'm starting to think I'm just not going to be able to see everything in the course of a video. Come on. Come on. I'm stuck. Come on, let me up. There we go. Yay. Now, can we open this? We can. Oh, look at that. Look, something as simple as a bridge in this fog looks so alien. I mean, imagine in something like Half-Life 2 or even Half-Life Alyx, which I'm playing through right now. Imagine when you look up and you see the Citadel. The reason it looks so strange is because it's this huge alien structure that just goes up into the clouds. But when you bring the clouds down here, it has the same effect. It doesn't even look like something that would have been built by humans, even though you and I know what a bridge is conceptually. This looks like some ancient monument that you wouldn't even be able to figure out its purpose. This is such an insane map. You can even see down into the machinery. I don't know anything about dams, so I don't know what this is supposed to be. I'm not a fan of heights, and it definitely comes across in VR. Can I open these doors? No. Okay. I believe I've mentioned before how I honestly am grateful when I can't open a door because it means I can get a move on that much quicker. Alright. I'm gonna lose it if this is all actually map. That is where I need to be. It looks like there's a few ways to get there. It looks like I can take that smaller bridge to the right, that bigger bridge up top, which is what I'm gonna do, or the trains all the way on the left, which I'm not walking all the way back there. Actually, while I'm at it... Well, here we are. I'm sure I haven't seen everything that's on this side of the river. But I think it's time we headed up and started making our way to the city. I can't believe this is all one map. This is the kind of thing that would be some distant structure in the skybox on any other map, but here it's actually all explorable, and I can actually come over here. I'm still skeptical if the other city is actually going to be a thing that's there, you know? Like, this can't possibly all be one map, but at the same time, I'm spurred on by the fact that, well, it was a 2 gig download. This thing must be really pushing the limits of the source engine. Well, we gotta cross that whole thing and make our way to the city. I'm drenched in sweat. I had to go take a drink of water, but I really wanted to get back into this as soon as possible so that I wouldn't lose that tension. I don't know if you can hear that, but I just heard like a weird, almost like a rumble. Not the thunder, but I mean like almost like a foghorn, or like the horn on a boat. I don't like how it's. I'm trying to be immersed and put my hands over here, but when I move my body closer, it pushes me away. Look at that. Just look at this map. We were down there. That's the kind of thing that would normally be some skybox asset, but we were down there. It seems like everything we can look at, everything we can see, we can go there. I was just down in that factory. I explored the whole thing. I explored the police station right there. Down the street, there's some houses. This map is gigantic. As I said in the previous video, it's more than a 2 gig download, which I assumed would just be a lot of packed assets, which it may well be, but the map definitely earns its file size in terms of size alone. No. We start the long, lonely walk across the bridge. This kind of reminds me, in a way, of the opening scene of The Walking Dead, where Rick is just kind of like walking through all the abandoned cars looking for some gas. Only this is way creepier. This is that combined with Silent Hill. Why did the ambient sounds just cut out? Don't think I'd... Just now, there were the sounds of waves crashing against the supports, and there's the crow. Okay. Well, maybe it's my crow friend from the Haunted Mansion. But I really don't like how the wind and the waves all just suddenly stopped. Well, at least the thunder's back. Okay, thunder, crow. Thunder and crow got my back. Wind and waves, they're kind of flaky. I know, crow. Joking around kind of helps ease the tension a little bit. Now, as I said before, I don't know if anything spooky happens on this map. I believe it's originally intended as an RP map, although this map is so huge, I don't know how you could RP on it. Maybe it's like some kind of apocalypse survival type thing, like maybe you mod it until the gameplay has a stalker kind of feel. But again, I don't know. So, I haven't read up on this map, but when some of you were explaining the map to me or suggesting it to me, you ended your sentences, I couldn't help but notice, with 3 periods. I don't like it when people do that with regards to horror media. Especially if I'm actually going to be physically in that space experiencing it for myself. In fact, this is so immersive that I thought that crow sounded a little bit different and got really scared. And as I mentioned at the end of the previous video, being outside does feel a little safer than being inside, but I also, in a weird way, kind of feel followed. Which is not dissimilar to how I felt walking around on the streets of Silent Hill, too. See, look at this. This actually feels like I'm just standing on an overpass in, like, Brooklyn or something. Are these streets really all explorable? I mean, I'm sure the buildings aren't all going to have full interiors. That's, like, impossible on this engine. There's the sound of that foghorn again. Look at those streets. Look at that detail. This is unbelievable. I can't believe this is Garry's mod. So the Ministry of Silly Walks coming to inspect this town. I couldn't help but notice that a lot of the ominous 3 periods came in conjunction with you guys telling me to explore the underground. And I've seen no underground yet. I'm sure excited to find it. That sounded like a guy imitating a crow. And as soon as I said that, I heard what sounded like rustling behind me. Alright, now, I saw what looked like it might be an openable door on my right. I just heard that sound again. So I'm just gonna head on over there. It doesn't seem like we can get in this way. Can we climb the fire escape? No, sadly, it doesn't look like it. Or maybe. No. See, I really don't like that, like, second crow sound that just sounds like a guy imitating a crow. It's time to get our Glock out again. I just can't find a good way into this building. Is this oh! It's like some kind of morgue, but it's just a random building on the side of the road. These all look like Silent Hill assets. I mean, look at these tiles. If it was gonna do something, this would be the place. What are these assets even from? It kind of makes me wonder if this map is maybe using custom assets? Oh, there's so much more to this than I expected. I don't like this at all. That door is barred. Which, why? But this one isn't. What is going on here? What is supposed to be the story? Why would that have happened? What about a pandemic necessitates that big hole in the floor of this random morgue? None of this makes any sense for a pandemic. Like, yeah, you remember last year when COVID hit? Every morgue had the body cage. This door's not going to open, is it? No? Good. Now the question is, do I go down there? I guess there's never going to be a better time. Don't like how the music changed to acknowledge the fact that I'm doing this. Sorry about that tap. I just hit the headset with my controller. What is all this? Sorry if I'm not talking much, but as I have explained, it does feel like I'm actually here right now. So I'm a little bit preoccupied. Alright, I like dead ends. Dead ends are fine by me, so long as there's somewhere else for me to go in the meantime. Is this supposed to be? What would even, when someone is making this map, what would even inspire them to add this? Conventional wisdom would be to put some kind of collision box over all of this so you don't get caught up on the geometry. Maybe they want you to do some platforming here? And now here we're splitting off into multiple pathways, and that I do not like. That makes me think there are right and wrong choices to be made here. I've just gone right. So let's hope that right is the opposite of wrong in this context. I don't even know where I'm going. Okay, this looks like it goes up. I don't like that ominous hum that occasionally drifts down the cavern. I think this was the way I didn't go. I am going to lose my mind if one of these panels gives out and dunks me into that water. Don't even joke about it, map. No, this just ends here. The only way in and out is through the morgue, I think. So what is all this? Okay, so that's shadow moving across from this beam. It looked like a whole bunch of little things just scurrying in from the tunnel. Like a swarm of rats or something. If I hadn't been talking, the sound of me jumping on that grate would have scared me more than it did. I just want to get out of here now. It's clear at this point that this doesn't go anywhere. I'm just gonna get out if only I can remember the way. Okay, I think this is the way out. Okay, I'm gonna have to teleport in. Alright. All I want to do is get out. All I want to do is get out. Okay. Just screw that place forever. Just screw that place forever. I'm done with that place. This looks like some kind of parking garage. I bet I can scale that ladder to get up the barricade. Yes. Yeah, this map really has no end, huh? Okay. I'm gonna go back and spend more time looking at the buildings before I go anyway like this. So we started off kinda over in a rural area. It was empty, it was spooky. But the abandonment was kind of the only indication that something really bad had happened. But once I mean, there was like a body or two here and there, but once we get here, you really get the impression this is where everything went down. This is where the panic occurred. And it's kind of built up an arc where it's almost as if I woke up from a coma in that rural area and have had to slowly make my way through and just gradually gaining a grasp on just how bad this is. My arc has kind of been, it's kind of gone from everyone's gone to everyone's dead. Evacuation center closed. Can we enter this? Better question, do we want to enter this? I haven't done it in so long that I forgot that pressing up on the trackpad can open doors. Okay. I really wish I could equip weapons in my other hand. I don't think that opens. Yeah, I don't think these open. I'm kind of curious to know if there's maybe some kind of a waterfront. See, if this were me in real life, and this would be the point where I get on this boat and just head off, not even caring where I end up. Never mind the fact that I have no idea how to operate a boat. See, the crazy thing is, I think there probably is stuff over there. Because when I was on that side of the river, the road did continue up to this bridge. So I don't know if you can actually cross it, but given this map, it wouldn't really surprise me if there is actually still a whole area that I haven't explored over that way. There's a whole hobo camp right here under the overpass. And honestly, given everything that I've seen all over the place, especially being in the city, this might have been the safest place to be. I don't like this. I mean, it's just open enough to feel empty, but there's just enough that I can't see to feel like something's gonna come from around a corner. I'm just checking to see if there's not maybe some doors in the back. No? Well, if not, then I'm happy to skedaddle. This is so cool. Look how the overpass comes over and just runs right alongside that building. Again, the kind of thing you probably wouldn't appreciate otherwise. Unless you had that incentive to look up. Of course, it also makes this back area feel kind of like a box. I don't like being boxed. Seems I found the entrance to the parking garage. But now I'm looking at it, I think this is that building that I was trying to find the door to before, so I think I'd rather head in here. That scared me. Doesn't that look... It's a chair, but doesn't that look like somebody's shoulder? And there's a nice detail, the wilted plant sitting on the desk. The elevator that I assume doesn't work, although they have gone to the effort to put 3D lights on top. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And there appear to be some severe structural cracks running along the side of the building. I'm certainly not going to be checking every room. I'll assume that the rooms are mostly identical. You're next. Given all the detail, maybe that elevator does work, but more importantly, why am I next? Oh, and of course there's a lot of... doorways. These apartments are much more detailed than I expected they'd be. But given that there's a lot of doorways, I can't even have the comfort of a gun. I'm honestly struggling to think of things to say at this point, but honestly, what else can I say that hasn't been said? I'm gonna imagine that a lot of these... I'll check one more. Oh no, they're not identical. They're not identical at all. I don't like that. I can't believe I'm finding such detail in such a dense urban environment in a Garry's Mod RP map. This thing must be pushing the engine to its absolute limit. Like, I don't even know what kind of... after this, the first thing I'm going to do is look up gameplay of people playing on this map, because I really want to know what it's like. And there's that crow again. The good crow, not the bad crow that I'm pretty sure is just some dude. This seems to be the last flight, and it's gotten noticeably darker. I don't like how high that ceiling is for the last flight. There's something about a really high ceiling that just really disturbs me for some reason. Especially at the top of a staircase. It's going to be really hard for me to... I don't think it's going to let me get close enough to the railing to look down. No, unfortunately. It's also not going to let me go up these stairs. What's going on? It's not letting me get up here. No, it's like there's a weird invisible wall right here. What's all this about? Are we, like, above the skybox or something? What's up with this? This is where the limit is drawn? Hang on. Let me cheat a little bit. These doors don't open. I don't think you're supposed to be able to get up here. Alright, everyone. I had initially recorded my outro and ended this video right here, because after 2 hours of straight recording, the atmosphere of this map had really started to wear on me, and it had gotten to the point where, you know, I was drenched in sweat. I was dreading opening every door and rounding every corner, to the point where I ended up, like, every few minutes I was, like, lifting up my headset because it just felt like there was somebody in the room with me. The atmosphere had worked its way in to that extent. And so I just ended it right there. I was like, okay, we climbed the staircase there. That's your endpoint. That's a good place to stop it. But I went on the workshop page to kind of see if there was anything I missed, because this is obviously going to be a longer video, and I want to do it all in one shot. I don't want to break this up into parts. And I did see that there, in the screenshots, that there is a church, which would be a fairly major location that I missed. So I just wanted you to be aware that that's my perspective coming in, is that I've had a day or two to decompress, and I think, you know, this being a channel that does horror Let's Plays, I think honesty of reactions is very important, and so it's very important for the viewer to understand my headspace going into any situation. So with that said, let's go back down all these stairs. Oh, it's making me dizzy. And head off in search of the church. I do not like the look of this alley. Hang on, where's my safety Glock? Look at that. I really feel like verticality adds a lot to spaces that you experience in VR. When you can look up and you get a sense of the depth. Look at that, and the fog helps too. It's much better than just having standard LOD, although I'm sure that's active on this map as well. It must be for this to be running as well as it is. Huh. Is this gate gonna open? Oh wow, it actually is. I didn't expect that to work. What is this, some kind of dock or shipyard? Yeah, I do not like this. See, I don't like these, like, narrow mazes and stuff, because when I start to enter one, I start to feel like I'm being corralled almost. Okay. Oh, wow. It looks like we can actually walk down to the water. Hang on. Let's, nope. Don't want my crowbar. Although I can actually swing it now thanks to a VR weapons enhancement mod. Come on. There we go. I'm curious to see what's in these little shacks. Just think that that whole area across the water there, and how distant that looks, that's where we came from. We walked from over there. Okay, it doesn't look like I can open these doors. You know, this is something that's been present a lot on this map. It's true of the radio mast across the river. It's true of this crane right here and the buildings in the city. I wonder if there's a specific fear which relates to tall objects, or just generally large objects, in the fog. Like, I know, like, large man-made, like, machines or structures underwater would fall under, like, submechanophobia or thalassophobia. I wonder if there's any similar name for when it's true of the fog. I'm gonna try one more of these little shacks down by the river. But I'm assuming at this point that none of the doors open. You know, there's this weird phenomenon that I've never heard anyone talk about. Maybe it's just me. But for some reason, benches just always feel occupied, even when, and especially when, there's nobody in them. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I must say, it really didn't take long for me to get spooked by this map again. And it looks like this bus is actually fully open. And here's more of that environmental storytelling I was talking about, all these bags scattered around. Almost like everyone was trying to take the bus somewhere, trying to get to safety, trying to evacuate the city, and something happened that caused everyone to just ditch the bus, and it's like some of them abandoned their bags right away, others got as far as outside before realizing they wouldn't be able to get away while still carrying them. I'm not sure if this is meant to be a zombie apocalypse or just a normal virus, but that only kind of fuels the mystery of what happened over here. Huh. Now here we have a convenience store that's clearly been looted during the panic. And some really spooky lighting in here. But the thing that's really putting me on edge is these convenience store dividers. And these things really creep me out in real life because I feel like they definitely do add to a liminal aesthetic. I talked about this in my Understanding Liminal Spaces video, but I do feel that, like, part of the liminal vibe... Oh, God, I did not like seeing that face. That is really just uncanny. But anyway, I feel that part of the liminal vibe is the feeling that there's always someone... You know, you're alone, but there is always someone just around the corner. Like, you're in a larger space... alone, but it just feels like there's someone else here that knows about you, but doesn't want you to know about them. Seems the river wraps around this side of the city and comes to a stop over here. And I'm willing to bet that's the train bridge that we saw earlier. And that tower in the distance is probably the church we're looking for. Can't stop admiring that blocky architecture just stretching up into the fog. There's just something about it that makes it look really eerie and dreamlike, but also I talk a lot about creepy and comfy and how they're kind of in a lot of ways very similar. And that's what daylight fog does for me. There's just something about daylight fog that makes it so great to wander around in, especially in real life, because, you know, it's just that cool moisture falling on your skin as you walk around, and it's so serene. And there's that secondary crow sound effect again, accompanied by a frame hitch. That door looks openable. I guess we'll check out this building first. Another apartment. This actually seems to be identical to the other apartment building. So if we go in here and it's the same, I'll just skip it. Looks like they've set up another camp here. Yep, this is most definitely the church. So we'll head in there momentarily. And I'm willing to bet, yep, over there is where the train gets off. Yeah, I'm getting it to play the sound, but either there's something that I'm not able to do in VR, or they don't actually move, or maybe I'm just doing it incorrectly. I guess let's get the show on the road. Oh, look at this. I guess they set up some kind of treatment center at the church. I can see, looking up there, that there's a 3D space in that window, so... and in those, so there must be something going on here. Crows in a graveyard. Name a more iconic duo. Alright, enough beating around the burning bush. Let's check out this church. Whoa. Have I mentioned that verticality really does add something to VR spaces? Oh, I am so not a fan of the sounds cutting out. Come on, man, at least give me thunder or something. I'm getting the Glock. Was that my footsteps, or was that actually a thing? I can't even hear thunder anymore. Okay, we are going forward with Glock. Definitely. I had kind of gotten used to the idea that the map wasn't going to try and pull something, but here we are. That's not me. There's a total lack of any sound. Every time I try to say something, the game proves me wrong. I'm standing perfectly still. That is not me. The torches are out in this room. I don't know if I just heard a whisper or if that was just my breath against the bottom of the index. Oh, come on. We are officially playing a horror map now. So glad I didn't end this video in the apartments. I would have had so many of you telling me, no, go back to the church. I'm actually somewhat relieved that it Seems to occasionally play a gust of wind up here. Where are you? What's gonna happen? Of course, for your guys' entertainment, I have to investigate the spooky noise in the abandoned church in the dead city. On the bump on the log, on the frog, on the hole in the bottom of the sea. I think I might have butchered that so that the song now includes a squished frog, but whatever. Alright, there might have been one other door I could enter downstairs. Here we are. Oh, it's like a whole monastery. I thought we were almost done with this place, but it's still like a whole thing. This reminds me of, I forget what it was called, but there's this art museum in Uptown New York that it's designed to look like a French monastery. And this looks actually very, very similar to it. Alright, hang on, Nosferatu. I'm taking a little detour to check out this garden. Actually, a well would be a good time for a scare. I can't see inside. I'm just going to assume that this is just a model and there's no actual depth to it. Although I don't think I've heard that exact frequency of ominous rapping yet. Yeah, I'm just going to back away from this well and continue on my journey. With the shape of those windows, it almost makes these feel like catacombs, especially with those figures when they're lined up perfectly. Because look at that shape. It looks like it's like a... It looks like it's like a... almost like a mummy that's been bound in linen and the head is on top and we're like surrounded by them. It does give it the feel almost of catacombs. Okay, we got a door on the left. Does this lead to somewhere we've been before? No. It leads down. We gotta go down again. You hear that, guys? We have to go downstairs into some basements. In a creepy abandoned church in a dead city. On a frog, on a bump, on a log, in the hole in the bottom of the sea. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much left to this place except to go down. I really don't like this place, but those footsteps sound like they're coming from above, and we have to go down, so that's good, right? If we do the right amount of coping math, that's good. Really wish they'd put like a collision ramp on the stairs. Okay, now, as I mentioned before, I do not like it when I come down somewhere and there's nowhere else to go. Could have sworn I just saw something on the stairs. But I'm going to assume that was just some kind of particle effect or LOD thing. You know, on the way out, I kind of started to think that maybe that banging noise is supposed to be the sound of shutters kind of blowing in the breeze. But looking around this church, I can't help but notice it doesn't seem to have shutters. So much for small comforts. Since we've looped back around to this wall, I think we've explored the city pretty much in its entirety. So really the only things we haven't done are this parking garage and that road that we would have come up if we hadn't taken the bridge instead, the one over by the abandoned sugar factory. Suppose I'll check the parking garage just to see if there's anything of note here. I must say, that's a pretty weird structure to see in a parking garage. I wonder if there's some kind of, like, temporary military thing set up here? Hello, inconspicuous, nestled-away staircase. Fancy seeing you here. It's crazy how much this map reminds me of all the highways and overpasses and bridges leading into New York City. It's always seemed really weird to me how you can be, you know, just kind of cruising down the road, and then you look to your sides and you're kind of face to face with somebody's, like, 4th or 5th floor apartment window. Alright, so in the end I am going to just no-clip through this barricade, just because I can't figure out how to get in and it's got me so curious. Oops. Why is this section of the parking garage just barricaded off like this? Oh, I suppose I could have jumped in through that hole right there if I had come around from the outside. Oh, or from just over there. Oh, I see. I would have had to hop the barricade to do it. So that's why... Okay, so this is all barricaded off so that you can't come through the parking garage from the outside. I see. But there is a lower level. What is that? Hang on. One thing at a time. That's a hole in the wall. And that is a lot of gore. Hang on. Are these... I think these are the tunnels from before. I think these are the tunnels from before. Hang on, wait. I'm trying to think if there's something I can do to, like, mark my path. I don't want to get lost down here. This is a lot of blood. And it's not even doing the eerie music from before. Is this connected to where I was before? Because if so, I never found this. Hang on. Gunner flashlight, gunner flashlight. I think I actually feel better with the flashlight right now. What is that noise? It was almost like a metallic breathing. What's happening? Is this... Wait, this looks kind of familiar. Did I somehow miss this before? This, like, flattened area with the metal platforms. No, I couldn't have. This doesn't connect to anything. But what's going on in the middle here? What is this? What is this supposed to be? Nothing happened when I jumped into it. Maybe that was a little bit foolish, but I know you'd all be yelling at me if it does something and I didn't interact with it. Okay, so now... more viscera. Alright. I gotta empty-hand it once more. The gunner flashlight dilemma has never been so strong. This looks like the morgue, but this isn't a place that I've been before. There's another body cage. It reminds me of those bed guys from Cry of Fear, but it's like the ceiling above them is smoldering. See, this is not just like a plague. This is clearly... I don't remember reading that it was a zombie apocalypse, but even a zombie apocalypse wouldn't explain all of this. I also don't like that it keeps placing these doors so that I have to keep going empty-handed. And look at this. To experience this in VR, the way the bars, the shadows from the bars just move across the wall when I move my light. This is Garry's mod. Can you guys believe this? This is the game I hopped on and screwed around with explosive barrels and headcrab zombies in middle school. And this is that same game that I'm playing right now doing this. I'm about to lose my mind from fear. Honestly, I'm just talking to distract myself at this point. It's just making fun of me now. Come on. If it does a jump scare. What is this? I feel like there's got to be so much to this map that I'm not seeing. Alright, I just want to get out of here as quickly as possible. I just want to get out of here as quickly as possible. You would think running would make it less scary, but, you know, it's kind of like... I just found that it's kind of like running upstairs after you go down to get a snack or something at night. Running just makes it feel like there's something behind you, giving chase. Alright, but we're out now. Alright, I just realized you can actually turn the modded flashlight on and off. How cool is that? Now with the quarantine zone of the city behind us, I believe I've seen about all there is to see in there. And the only thing left to do is to walk that lonely road we didn't bother to come down the first time, back in the direction of the sugar factory and the copyright bar. This gas station is truly out of the way. See, this is like that other gas station, but worse, because the dividers are a lot taller. Although, to be honest, the shorter dividers are almost worse in a way. It's kind of hard to explain, because you might think, oh, well, you can see somebody... You would see their heads over the tops of the shorter dividers. But think of it this way. Anything that would be behind the shorter dividers that you can't see is deliberately crouching so that you won't see it. And is that the frame of yet another? No, you know what? I think that's the bridge I could see in the distance from the sugar factory. So I think our journey is just about coming to an end. I'm really curious to know what this place is. This is dark. Some kind of machine shop? Or power plant, maybe? This looks kind of like some power plants that I've seen. Though it doesn't come close to explaining how any of the lights are still on, since I don't hear any noise coming from this. And I'm sure a place like this requires constant maintenance. I don't know why I'm analyzing a Garry's mod map for electrical logistics. I kind of think that talking just kind of makes it feel a little less like I'm alone. Like, I really don't think I'd have been able to sustain the almost 3 hours total of recording that I've spent going through this entire thing. I'm going to turn off my light for a second, though. Just look at this. Creepy and cozy. It's like being inside on a rainy day. If you had some friends in here, and say you were like out exploring and this was an abandoned site, this would be a great place to sit down and read. You find an old couch and drag it over to one of the windows, and you just hang out. Alright everyone, so as we walk this road all the way back to where we started, with no new answers and no more safe than when we began, I'm gonna end it here. This is an absolute gem of a map, and according to the workshop, it was only uploaded September 6th. Is that true? That's incredible. So this is a brand new map, and it really... I mean, I haven't played it yet in normal mode, but to experience this in VR, it really is something else. The amount of artistry and talent that's gone into putting all this together. And from what I understand, it's supposed to be a role-playing map. I'm gonna have to look up videos of people playing on here, because I'm really curious to know what that would even be like. It almost feels like it was meant to be experienced in the way that I did, so I'm having a hard time even imagining it with an actual gameplay function. But look at that, just to be able to point over there and be like, oh yeah, I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. I've been to the old farm that's all the way down there and up the road a ways. And the size really adds to it in more ways than just the impressive sense of scale. Just due to the size of it, it's taken me a really long time, almost 3 hours of recording, to see everything that I've seen, and I'm sure there's things I missed. I didn't even go into most of the apartments, so if there's Easter eggs in there, I certainly didn't see them. And in that way, it's allowed me to immerse myself to the point where I really do feel like I've walked through this dead city. At the end of my Creepy and Comfy Maps video, I told the story of the first time my brother got to try VR, which is well before I ever did. And the way he explained it to me was that when you're done, you don't remember it as having played a VR game. You remember it as having been there. And that really is accurate. But anyway, this is going to be a really long video, so if you're still here, thank you so much for sticking with me through this. And if you liked this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to suggest any future videos, Garry's Mod or otherwise, the best place to do that is in the Discord, which I will link in the description. Also, if you want to try this map for yourself, with or without VR, that link will also be in the description. But, as always, Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.